Hello, welcome back to another video. Today we are going to do something a little differently because I had a very busy April. I fell behind on doing the bagged and boarded weekly episodes. So I think what I want to do today is talk about some highlights from April of things that I read, and then I'll do a top five. I'll do a top five books, single issues that I read during the month of April. So what I'm going to do is start off with what are some highlights. Then after I do my top five, I'll talk about some of the series that I dropped off. Not to get all negative, just try to manage things as I pick up some new series, and then I let go some other issues because I really don't need to continually buy a lot of issues to stock up and have more short boxes and long boxes of comics. I'm trying to avoid some of that, but I am having a lot of fun with reading certain comic series. So just really trying to manage what I'm spending weekly on comics, because there's still comic art out there that I that I want to buy and I have been buying. So first off, we're just going to talk about kind of quickly about some single issues that I read that just kind of want to get the word on my thoughts on. So we're going to kick it off with something that came out this week. It's We're Taking Everyone Down With Us, number 2. This is by Matthew Rosenberg, and art is Stefano Landini. Now, this series, this is issue 2. I think it's a 6-issue series, 6-issue miniseries. But I love it. I'm really enjoying this series. It's about a daughter who's discovering more about her father, who's this kind of mad scientist. He gets murdered in the first issue. You learn that he is actually a supervillain, and then there's other there's lots of different people that are after this guy, and so she loses him, and it seems like he has this army of cyborgs that were in the first issue. They were taking care of his daughter. They were like his daughter's babysitters, which was really fun. And it seems like his consciousness has been transferred into one of the robots. So the second issue sees them kind of going off on their own adventure, and it's just a lot of fun. It's a good mix of action, kind of James Bond kind of espionage action going on with big kind of super villains. Well, that's not really the James Bond aspect of it, but they actually are like super villains, and but just kind of like these criminal organizations. That's what it kind of reminds me of, like, Blofeld and James Bond. Like, there's these big criminal organizations that are operating behind the scenes, and all around a good story, a good experience, good reading experience. Having a lot of fun with that one. And here's one that's just a completely different change of pace, but I'm still enjoying it. It's The Seasons. Issue 4 came out this month. Now this is by Rick Remender, and art is Paul Azaceta. Now, this, when I talked about the first issue, very kind of whimsical and creepy, and that mix continues into issue 4. There's some more, progression of the story, which I really enjoy. It's about 4 sisters who had lost their parents previously, and they all kind of handled that loss differently. And the 4 sisters are the seasons. It's autumn, winter, summer, and spring. And there's this. You learn more about this creepy carnival and what it might represent, and each of the different sisters have a different level of understanding of what this might be and what it might mean. Some are just clueless and just like caught up in this is a great carnival, this is fun, but it actually is evil. And yeah, I just have really enjoyed the way that this book is presented. There's a lot of scenes set within the carnival. They're doing a show for the town, and much of the book is rhyme. It's delivered in this kind of whimsical, fun rhyme, but there's this undertone of danger, which I have been surprised by it, but really enjoying it. And here's another one that I'm really surprised by, but absolutely enjoying it, is Bug Wars. Bug Wars number 3 came out this month. And this is by Jason Aaron and Mahmoud Asrar. And this is a lot of fun. Another fun comic where it's like I mentioned it before, but it's the mix of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids with Game of Thrones, Conan, that kind of fantasy world. It's all set in the backyard of this house. This son, there's 2 sons, their mother, and they had lost their father, and it's the son learning about his father and his father's connection to these bugs. yeah, he's like this chosen one. He has an amulet on him that has grants him powers. There's just a lot of fun stuff going on in this series, and it is the way that they describe um very serious in nature, the way that they're like describing this kid who is like he's like I forget, I forget exactly what they call him, but they're essentially they're saying that he's got the strength of a strength of a stomper, which is they call the giant beings that come in the backyard sometimes. But yeah, the strength of a stomper and the body of a mite. So he's like he can shrink down, and it's in this world of the bugs, and there's this ongoing struggle between the ants and the beetles, and there's different factions, and it's a lot of fun. Like it's really, he's got a pet beetle. This kid has a pet beetle, which is, yeah, I don't know. I was really surprised by it, but they had me when you have a title that just like Bug Wars, you're like, okay, that the title gets you, and then in reading it and the way they're handling the serious nature mixed with the comical nature of it, because it is this, it's this warring bugs in the backyard, which it's a small scale, very small scale in the sense that it's just contained to the backyard. But once you get down into that world, it's this large, very serious battle and struggle that's going on. So yeah, a lot of fun so far with that one. Now, another one that I've really been enjoying is Batman Dark Patterns. Now, this is like I think the only like, no, there's one more DC comic in here, but most of these are independents, which kind of tells you what I'm enjoying mostly in comics right now. But so Dark Patterns is a 12-issue series. It's written by Dan Waters, and the art is by Hayden Sherman. Now, it's a 12-issue series, and it's telling stories of a younger Batman, kind of an inexperienced Batman, and so there's 4 different cases that are highlighted in this series. The first 3 issues was the first case, and now the second issues 4, 5, and 6 are the second case that Batman is working on. Now, I will say, I think I enjoyed the first case a little better than this one so far, but I do enjoy this one. That's like, I still enjoy it, but like I did like the villain of the first one, the way that he was revealed, and it was very unique, a new villain, which I like. They're using an existing Batman villain in this second story arc, but like an underused villain, which I enjoy. So yeah, it's Batman trying to on a rescue mission in this high-rise apartment building where danger is at could be any one of the apartments. It's kind of been taken over by this organization, and yeah, I enjoy the creative layouts. I enjoy the art, and I like that it's completely separate from everything else that's going on in DC Comics. You can just pick up a book, read some solid Batman, mystery detective type stuff, and I enjoy that. It's not a big ask. I know it's 12 issues. I know what I'm getting. I like the fact that it can kind of keep my interest, and it's self-contained stories as far as the different cases, so like a 3-issue story. Yeah, I like that. I really that's an easy buy-in for me, and I'm really enjoying it. Now, a couple other ones real quick we'll talk about. This is another a new number 1 that I saw on the solicits, and I kind of have been looking out for like Image number 1s just because they're, I like to see what's going on. I don't get them all because I don't want to get everything they do, but anyway, this one was fun. It's the cover that got me. It's Lost Fantasy number 1 by Kurt Perez, and the art by Luca Casalanguida. Now, I don't know either of those creators, but anytime you get like a fun character with a giant sword, you get this kind of like Mike Mignola monster on the cover of it, and I was like, okay, I'm on board. The one thing I don't enjoy the title. It seems it's kind of like a generic title, Lost Fantasy. That I don't think grabs you, but the way that the cover is laid out with these bright colors on the top of it, and then this monster kind of in the forest on the cover, yeah, it just got me, and I like it. It's not one of those instant like, oh my gosh, instant hook. It's intriguing and it's interesting. I'm curious to see where it's going. And then I also, after I added this to the pull list, I saw online that Maxi Dallow, the artist that I really, really enjoy. I've gotten a couple of commissions from him in OAX. I've talked to him numerous times, both at OAX and privately through like emails and stuff. And I saw that he's doing a fill-in issue for issue 5 of Lost Fantasy. So I'm definitely on board for at least a 5 to see what Maxi does on the series. There was the writer posted a preview image of some design work that Maxi had done for his issue, and yeah, looks great. So definitely on board for the first story arc, whatever that. I guess it's a 4-issue arc, and then on Maxi's issue, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, have enjoyed it. I'm glad I picked that one up. And this one I got for a couple reasons, but this is an IDW. There's a lot of Godzilla comics going on right now, but the Godzilla and mixed with even like DC and Marvel, which is crazy that Godzilla is working, or that DC and Marvel both are licensing Godzilla to do their own comics. But anyway, the Godzilla and the superhero stuff doesn't really interest me as far as mixing those together. But this one did. It's Godzilla versus America, and there was a Godzilla versus Chicago, and what they're doing is kind of featuring artists from those areas on each issue. So like some Chicago-based artists. There wasn't any names that really grabbed me on that issue, but the Godzilla versus Los Angeles did, because I really like Gabriel Hardman, and he actually did the cover for this one. I love his work. There were some Planet of the Apes comics that he did that are some of my favorite Apes comics. And so to see him do a short story in this one, which is really fun, kind of a crazy, it's very Los Angeles, eye in the sky, helicopter news team on the scene of a Godzilla attack instead of like a high-speed chase, which you usually see on LA. But so the other thing that was cool about this one was 100% of the proceeds from this comic are supporting the BINC, which is the Book Industry Charitable Foundation, to respond to the wildfires in California, which I thought was cool. So it's a $7.99 comic. Picked it up. Happy to see, anytime there's any small way you can help out, that's great. But yeah, so the comic itself, there are I think 3 or 4 different, I forget how many, short stories that are in the book, and it's just a lot of fun. And there's actually another one that's coming up which really grabbed my interest, which is the Godzilla versus Boston. Jesse Lonergan is doing a story in that one. Hayden Sherman is doing a story in that one. So, and they both have covers, the cover A and cover B. Actually pre-ordered both of those because, I mean, I'm a sucker for artists that I'm into, and they're doing some cool stuff. I mean, who doesn't love Godzilla, right? Like, that's just fun. So, all right. So next up, we will get into the top 5 of the month. Now, when I say top 5, I've enjoyed all the comics that we've talked about so far. Different reasons, different reading experiences. Just have been really fun to have been comics that I've enjoyed. But these 5 are just comics that I think are offering a different type of for actually there's a couple of different reasons why I would rank these in the top 5. But they're just fun. They're just fun, different reading experiences. And we'll just kick it off with the first one here is Absolute Martian Manhunter #2. Now, I did go back and pick up the number 1 and number 2, and this is a trippy book, and it's really interesting. I do enjoy a comic that when I'm reading it, I don't fully understand what's going on, but as long as if it's engaging and it's intriguing and you want to kind of figure it out, I enjoy those types of books. I enjoy when you on the first read through and you're like, what did I just read? You don't necessarily know exactly what you read, but you enjoyed it, and you know that there's something there to discover and kind of explore a little more. And that's Absolute Martian Manhunter. And again, this is another. This is written by, is it Dennis or Denis? Dennis Camp. And the art is by Javier Rodriguez, and also Javier does the colors in this, and the colors are a big part of this book that helps sell it. The colors are like a character in the story, which is very interesting. And yeah, I still have not fully figured out what this is all about, but I am enjoying it, and it's so much so that it puts it past like some of these other books and put it like in here because I enjoyed the experience of it. Now, it's a different take on Martian Manhunter. Instead of John Jones, the police officer, being an actual shape-shifting Martian, the Martian comes in the form of this entity that has kind of possessed this human character. Now, it's very intriguing. I like how it's they're using the kind of the psychic abilities that Martian Manhunter is known to have, but it's this symbiotic relationship between the Martian and the host, and they're using the psychic powers to kind of help solve crimes, to get inside the mind of some of the criminals that they're encountering, and it's wild and it's super, super interesting. And I'm glad that this was originally supposed to be a 6-issue series. The success of the first issue expanded it out to 12 issues. And I don't know where it's going. I don't know what it's going to offer, but I really enjoyed reading the first 2 issues. So I would recommend it. And again, it's not going to be for everybody. And there's another one on this in this top 5 that's also not going to be for everybody. And I understand that. It's something that you can wait, but it's like a 12-issue series, so I would probably wait on that. But if you're looking for something and you're buying comics right now, I'm not saying it's something you need to go out and specifically pick up, but if you are reading comics and you're buying on a weekly basis and you're looking for something else that's kind of interesting and different, absolute Martian Manhunter is for you. All right, so next up, we'll do The Moon is Following Us, number 8. Now, we're kind of nearing the end of this Danny Warren Johnson, Riley Rossmo partnership. It's a 10-issue series, and the core mission has been the same. The plot point has been the same from issue 1. It's about parents trying to save their daughter from this coma-like state. She's they go into her dream world, and they are on a mission to rescue her. Now, this one hits home for me, and I've talked about it in some of the art that I've posted on Comic Art Fans. There's a couple pages that I have from this series that I've posted so far, and I've talked about it in when I talked about when I did pick those pages up at OAX. But it's a series that's coming along at the right time for me as a parent of young kids. You don't have to be a parent to enjoy this series, but if you are a parent, and more specifically if your kids are young, this one really hits home. It's a very emotionally resonant series so far. Got a lot of ups and downs and cliffhanger type moments. And I would say when this series started, the first volume, I would say isn't necessarily one that you need to read month to month. But it's still enjoyable. There's been a lot more. In the second half of the series, a lot more like, oh wow, kind of moments that are more intriguing and are things that kind of, it's nice to have them sit with you month to month because of, like I said, I've connected to it on a more emotional level with the parental aspect of it. So yeah, there's been some more moments in the second half of the series that makes it that I'm glad that I'm reading it month to month, because I feel like it's heightened my appreciation of those moments. And because sometimes when you read it in a trade, you can kind of blow right past them. They're resonant, but they do resonate with you, but they don't stay with you necessarily as much because you just turn the page and move on. So I'm really glad that I stuck with this one and reading it month to month. But again, it's going to be one that I think is going to be great to still read as a collected edition. The first volume is out. I think it's 1 through 5. There's a trade for that's out. And that actually ends on a good cliffhanger story beat. So that's I would recommend picking up the first volume. It's probably like $10, $14, and I would check that out. And then if you're intrigued by it, then check out the second volume when that one comes out. So all right, now three issues left to talk about, and no, this one might surprise people as why it's not number 1, but it's Transformers issue 19. I love Transformers. I've absolutely been loving the series. Anybody who's watched any of my videos knows that from like the art I'm buying, the talking about the videos that I've done of each issue. Now I actually kind of trailed off on doing monthly videos on the specific issues because I got invited to join some other Transformers YouTube content creators, but they've become good friends of mine. Moonbase 3, Delta Tryon, and Swizz Prime. They do a lot of month-to-month videos on the Skybound Transformers comics, and so we there's a podcast called Teletraan Tapes that they invited me to be a part of, and we've been talking about each issue as it comes out and just kind of get our reactions. And so yeah, so I'll put a link down below. There's the Teletraan Tapes is a channel. Go check that out. It's been a lot of fun, and they're a good group of guys to kind of sit and nerd out and chat about the comics. So yeah. So why this isn't number one? A couple reasons. I have been obviously really, really loving Jorge Corona's art. This is a fill-in artist. It's still written by Danny Warren Johnson, but the fill-in artist is Ludo Lalabi. Solid art in this book. It was my initial reaction to it was not so strong because each issue has had so many things going on. So many different plot threads, so many different, the stories moving forward on multiple fronts. This is a pause in that. It's a flashback story. It talks about the origin of this Megatron, and not like from his like very, very beginnings. It introduces the Megatron, who's already a formidable soldier, but it talks about how he maybe gained some of his abilities that you see in we saw in like the issue 18. So not a bad issue, just not my favorite issue of Transformers. And I'm excited to see Jorge Corona come back in to kind of finish off the story of 20 through 24, which is the rest of Danny Warren Johnson's run. This does have a lot of action in it, and it's good. I appreciated this comic more after talking with my friends at the Teletraan Tapes, and it was good to kind of talk it through and hear their different reactions to it, because my initial reaction was like, that's it. There wasn't a lot that I felt was going on in the story, but I did feel like maybe I missed some things, and kind of talking it through with them did elevate my appreciation of the issue. It still will probably, and this is not a knock on the Lobby's art, it'll still probably be one of my least favorite issues of the run so far, just because, like I talked about before, it's solely focused on one story, and the story of Megatron. Not a bad story. It's just I've been spoiled by like I said, all the other different story plot threads and storylines that are going on that I'm just eager to get back to those in next issue. So reading this in a trade probably would be fine, and you wouldn't think twice about it. It would just be a nice pause in the action. It's just that I read it and I was like, oh, now we got to wait another month for like more of the story that I really want to read about. But yeah, anyway, it's good. It's just not my favorite issue. So, all right, now, last two issues I want to talk about. Now, this one is another Denis Camp, not sure, written comic, and it's Assorted Crisis Events #2 came out. Now, it's Camp, and then the artist is Eric Zawadski, but the colors in here are by Jordi Belair. Now, I don't always mention colorists, and I probably should, but I mentioned like Absolute Martian Manhunter. When the color, when there's something specific about the color that adds to the story that is noticeable to me, that really jumps out, then that's when I comment on it. Not a slight towards other colorists. It's just sometimes they're a little more just they enhance the art, but aren't necessarily enhance the story appreciation, I guess, if I want to say. But in Assorted Crisis Events, Belair's color work is phenomenal. This is a trippy book. Now, the idea is that time is breaking down. There are different time is breaking down. That's essentially what it is, and it's all kind of converging, and everything's kind of going on at once. Their characters show up that shouldn't be there. They're time displaced, then they disappear, and it's just like this kind of chaotic story that's going on. But it's an anthology book too. So the first issue was focused solely on this one woman, and now this issue is a totally different character that it focuses on. But it's like the life of an immigrant, and it's unreal, like how engaging this issue was. Now, again, this is not going to be for everyone. There's some social commentary going on here. Some people don't want that in their comics, but the way it's done, it's very intriguing. I'm hooked. Now I'm looking forward to the next issue, even though it has probably nothing to do with the story of this one. I love that. I love this kind of unique. It's one story that's happening but it's focusing on different characters and how the time breaking down, things colliding, how it's all kind of converging. It's amazing. And I don't feel I've babbled about this, and I guarantee you I did not do it justice, because the story itself it follows this immigrant, right? And you see him flashes of like his entire life, and it's like what he's gone through, his father, it talks about his daughter, and it's just like it all kind of weaves this crazy narrative that after I got done reading it, I had that similar reaction to after Martian Manhunter, and it's like, what the hell did I just read? And again, I didn't know. I don't know that I fully have the answers to that. I think I have more answers now that I've sat with it for a while, and I went back and read it again. It's super interesting, and it's providing a different type of comic reading experience that you don't get a lot. And that's the stuff that really gets me excited about reading comics, because I love, and again, like a tangent about Image Comics, creator-owned stuff is really what's kind of really what I'm enjoying about comics. Outside of, you have Transformers and G.I. Joe, that kind of scratches the nostalgic itch for a lot of the stuff that I'm reading. But then other Image Comics that it's creators that have stories they want to tell that they've been holding on to, and now this is their outlet to be able to do that. I love it. That's super, super intriguing. But yeah, so yeah, Assorted Crisis Events. Can I recommend it to everybody? No, I cannot, because a lot of people were like, "What is this? I don't care. I don't understand it. It's too much. It's too out there." But there are, if you're someone who that is intriguing and that sounds interesting, definitely check it out, because it's a thought-provoking read, and you don't get that with a lot of comics. So, all right, now the top issue of the month for me is G.I. Joe #6. Now, this is the closeout to the first story arc, written by Joshua Williamson. The art by Tom Riley. Talked about him before. Jordi Belair does colors on this one too, and it's interesting. I love her work on this series, but I also love how the art looks in its original format. So, there's flashback elements. There's very limited color palettes in certain scenes, and it's just done to good effect, and really enjoy it. But the closeout to the first arc is all about Cobra Commander and Duke finally are having their first kind of meetup and first fight, and it's a very satisfying confrontation clash. They're learning more about each other. The whole G.I. Joe side of the Energon universe has kind of been to this point leading to this moment, because Cobra Commander and Duke were on a parallel path of the rise to not the power. I mean, for Cobra Commander, yes, it's a rise to power, but for Duke, it's like his like purpose is becoming clearer, and he had his friend was killed by Starscream in the Transformers comic, and then the Duke miniseries is all about him trying to figure out what the Transformers are, who's behind it, and then that leads him to become the team leader for G.I. Joe, and now he's trying to get all these characters together to function as a team, and it's his kind of story progression to get to the point where he's at, that he can actually take on Cobra Commander, and it's great. I mean, I've loved this comic. G.I. Joe, outside of the original comics, like I read them in the 90s, G.I. Joe is I don't think a property that's been handled well. I don't. Now, here's the other thing that I fell off on. So IDW had G.I. Joe, and they kind of continued the Larry Hama stories, and they're at and Skybound now picked them up again, so they're at issue 312 or something like that. That's too much. I'm not gonna reinvest. There's 150 some, so 150 issues of the original G.I. Joe series, and there was another 150 of IDW, and that's just too much. I don't want to read all of that. But this fresh take tied into the Transformers, absolutely love it. I love that they've taken their time to kind of develop these characters. They make you care about G.I. Joe characters that I never did. Duke is one that I've never cared about. I thought he was very kind of just a kind of a boring character. But here he's one of the most interesting characters of the series, and I think that's fantastic. I love the groundwork they're doing to a slow build to get to this moment, and then the rest of the GI Joe book will kind of launch from there, because they're introducing more characters like Beachhead next issue. This ends on a really cool cliffhanger. People have been saying, hey, like, what's the purpose of GI Joe? Like, there's it's not crossing over, or there should be more Transformers in the series. Read this one. But another interesting thing about the fandoms of GI Joe and Transformers, I found out that, so Transformers fans really just want to read Transformers comic books, and GI Joe fans just want to read stuff written by Larry Hama. Now, if that's your thing, that's fine. If you want to stay in those lanes, that's totally fine, obviously. But there is a very rewarding reading experience here when it comes to what they're doing at Skybound and the Energon universe. So absolutely loving it all. Void Rivals came out this week too. That ends their third arc. Another great series. I really recommend all of the Energon universe books. So anyway, I know I'm babbling now, so I'm gonna wrap it up. But the one thing I want to talk about was the couple series that I did drop off. I dropped off Absolute Batman and Absolute Superman. Not bad books. I mean, I was enjoying them. They are not books that make me invested month to month. Like, I don't read the issue and then think about, like, oh, where's this going? What's coming next? They're fun, but they kind of follow the superhero formula. Like, this is kind of like superhero stuff, and it's fine, it's good. But it's just not the stuff that I'm fully engaged in, and makes me kind of sit with it month to month. And I'll read them eventually. I'll get the trade paperbacks. I have the DC Infinite subscription, the digital comics. I can read those when they hit that. It's a matter of, I don't need to keep buying every issue of those comics, because there will be other easier ways to consume them. And so I found myself, when I would talk about them, I felt like I didn't have as much to talk about, because I was just like, yeah, that was good. I enjoyed it. That was fun. But it's like, it's just a different take on Batman. And like you keep saying each issue, I'm like, oh, this is a different take on Batman. I liked it, but I didn't feel like, I wasn't looking forward to necessarily talking about each issue month to month. And that kind of informed my decision to maybe we'll drop it off, and then we'll revisit it later on in trade format. Another one that I removed from my pull list, but then a new issue came out this month. It was a Rockefellers number 5 came out. That was kind of like slowly progressing. It was fun. I liked the family dynamic issue, the family dynamics of that book, but it was kind of a slow moving thing. And then I took it off my pull list. I read issue 5, and I'm like, oh, okay. So issue 5 was like really, really good. There's the family dog kind of has moments to shine, and that's I've talked about it in the past as a dog owner. I loved seeing that. So I don't know. I still think I'll keep it off my pull list, but it's one that I will definitely revisit later on, either in trade or I think they're on through Hoopla or whatever. I'll continue reading it. It's just I don't know that I need each single issue. So anyway, that was a long one. Had a lot to talk about. So I don't know if it's been hard to kind of do week to week comic videos. I might do more of this, where I kind of break it up and maybe do like a monthly type issue, or a monthly episode where it just talks about the things that I read each month. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where it's all about timing and how things, the availability and how that works out. So anyway, thank you very much for watching this one, and I will see you soon.